G'day guys, Paul here from the Hook and The Ccok. Welcome back to our channel. I know it's been a long time since we've posted anything, but you know, with COVID and all that type of stuff and life getting in the way, it's just been a little bit tough. So, but hopefully this year we'll get a few clips up for you, Scotty and myself. Anyway, I'm up in the Noosa River at the moment, and it's been absolutely pouring down the last 2 days. So I've been driving my wife absolutely crazy. So she's told me to get out the house. So I thought, well, the only thing I can do once we've had all this rain and the water looks like chocolate is just go and chase some crabs. So hopefully the crabs are on the move, and I've just put a new kitchen in at home, and hopefully I can cook something special in the new kitchen to christen it and show you how we're going to cook some nice crab, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So guys, what I've done is I've wrapped a little bit of mullet. Got some mullet there. Just going to throw that in. Chicken's really good as well. They're up the river at the moment. Actually, I'm just going to put a cable tie on it. We get a few of the pots raided occasionally, so I'm going to put a couple of cable ties. Sometimes that slows people down from actually stealing your mud crabs, but it doesn't often happen here too much on the Noosa River, but occasionally it does happen, which is a bit of a bummer when you go to all this trouble to catch the crab. Anyway, let's get this cable tie on. So I'm also trying a couple of micro pots today just to see how they work. I've tried them in the kayak and haven't had much success, but I must admit I've only tried it a couple of times. The real small pots, they're really cool for the boat or on the kayak. And, it's around about 1.7 meters deep here. Obviously you've got to shove your name on there as well. Make sure you put your name on it. Okay. And your telephone number, just in case you lose your pot. And let's go and get the other one in. Right guys, we're back out this morning. We're just going to pull the pots. Hopefully we've got a couple in here. Lucky I've got Danielle helping me today. Can't see where you're going.
Two muddies.
Two muddies, but...
Three muddies. No, two.
Two, but I don't know, that's a female, I think. I hope he's a male. He's not. Oh, yes! Woo!
Finally got a boy.
Good one too.
Oh,
he's a beauty. Getting round the other way. I'm going to put on him. Should be able to tie him up.
Where's my toe in? Got him? You gonna tie him up? You got string for him?
Yeah, should be some string. I'll have to find it. There we go, guys. Beautiful male. Look at the size of the claws on this guy. Woo! This is where we got the Jenny from before. And yeah, you gotta be careful of them. So happy. Yum, yum, yum. We'll just make sure he's the right size. I'm sure he is. Yes, perfect size. Right on the dime. So we'll get him away, and I'll tie him up a bit later on when I find my string. So I just need to pop him in that esky, I reckon. What we'll do is we'll just stick a damp cloth over the top of him, and it'll keep him from stressing. Okay guys, back at home now, and unfortunately I forgot my twine to tie the crab up. If I pop him in the fridge now, he's just going to smash everything up. As you can see, he's pretty lively and pretty aggressive, as you can see. So I'm going to have to tie him up. So just take my shoes and socks off. Don't do this at home. It's not something that, it's quite dangerous, and I'll show you why in a second. So he's a little bit disorientated. Get him happy here, and then hold him here, as you can see. So he can't get me at the moment. So what I'm going to do is pop my toes on top of him, just here, and then come underneath my heel, just underneath these flippers here. Come under here like so, and then we're just going to under this one as well, like so, and then we've got to come back underneath here as well. Oh, he's strong, very strong. I'm going to push this guy in here. That's it. Keep them both nice and tight. Come back under my foot. Tight, quite tight. Give him a spin so he can't escape. There you go, he's tied up. Nice and secure. Just what we've got to do here is just be really careful, because if we put a pen in here, you watch this. He just snapped that straight off. As you can see, he's got some power in him. He just snaps it straight off. So if he gets hold of your finger, so they've got little hairs just underneath here, and they keep crushing until they can't feel any more nerves. So there we go, he'll just rip you to bits. So you've got to be so careful. Don't do that at home. Okay, let's pop him in the fridge. We're going to put him in there for 45 minutes at least. It's the most humane way to render the crab completely senseless. Okay, then I'm going to show you how we're going to prep the crab. Well guys, the dish that I'm going to cook today is Singapore crab. Now, I have cooked it on the channel once before, but we did it with blue summer. It's not really traditional. So today I'm going to do a traditional Singapore crab. Beautiful chili crab. So here we go. So I'm just going to prepare the crab. Okay, so the crab's now rendered senseless. Basically it's been in the fridge. I actually put it in the freezer for 5-10 minutes as well. As you can see, the claws will just drop down. It's not raring up, so it's fast asleep now, and it's the most humane way to dispatch the crab. So now we're just going to turn the crab over, and we're just going to open up this piece here, which is the shell underneath. Okay. Now this is the easiest way. This is a male crab, as you can tell by the point here, whereas the female carapace is where it carries all the berries and the eggs. And obviously we can't keep the females. Just put your thumb in behind there and then just lift up. And it can be a little bit tricky at times, but once it comes off like so, and slowly take it off. Now then, just in here, all this yellow meat here, I'm going to keep that. That's called, we call that the crab fat, or the crab butter I like to call it. Sounds a little bit nicer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that little bit of crab butter into here, into my bowl. Just scraping it in. It gives it a really nice umami sort of a flavour, a really good flavour. Careful you don't take any of the stomach, you just want that yellow. Now then, the next thing I need to do is remove the dead man's fingers. We call these the dead man's fingers, okay, or the lungs. So I'm going to take these off because they're inedible. So what I like to do is just remove one of the claws, just by pulling it backwards, like so, just give it a twist, pull it against itself. It should come off fairly easily. I'm going to crack the claws in a second. So the next thing we need to do is we need to cut the claws. Now then, next what I've got to do is cut the crab in half. Nice strong knife to do this. And then I'm going to cut them in half again. Straight down. Between the flipper and the two legs, we just go straight down the middle. A little bit of a messy job, but I'm going to clean this crab off in the water in a second. We need to crack the claws. The reason why we do that is so that we get some beautiful sauce in there. A slight tap. Don't crack them too much, or what will happen is, so you just want a little crack like that. You want the sauce to seep into there, into the muscle, and into that meat, that sweet meat. But we don't want to crack it too much. On that side it's already cracked, so just give it one more crack. Now the reason why we don't crack it too much is because what will happen is the crab meat will dry out. It's a little tap. That's enough. And then I like to give it a little tap on the end as well. So I'm just going to give that crab a good wash off now, and then we're going to start to cook. So guys, what you want to do is get your wok nice and hot, white hot. First thing I'm going to add is my shallots, or French shallots, eschalots we call them here in Australia. So we're just going to stir that through. We're going to add our ginger. So I've chopped some fresh ginger, a little bit more oil, a touch more oil. Give that a good stir around. Some crushed garlic. Probably enough. I'm going to put some chili in now. I'm not putting too much chili in. I know it's a chili crab dish, but I'm actually putting some hot chili sauce in here. These are long red chilies. You could use bird's eye chilies, the real small hot ones. In fact, we've got some growing in the garden at the moment and they're so powerful, it's incredible. Probably around about, say, 250 ml of tomato sauce. Now a dash of sweet chili for sweetness. This is optional. If you don't like it too sweet, don't put it in, but I love it. So our hot sauce goes in. Okay, so probably around about, say, 3 tablespoons of hot sauce. I will give it a taste a little bit later. I can always add, but you can't take it out once it's in there. I'm going to put a little bit of chicken stock in there. Now what's always traditional is a little bit of ketchup. That just adds a little bit of sweetness as well. And a little bit of soy sauce. So just a dash of soy sauce, maybe 2 tablespoons. So it's looking really good now. It's almost ready to add the crab. Just a touch more, chicken stock goes in. So what we want is that we don't want it too thin, like thin gravy, but we want it to be not too thick either, but we want it just right. If you have a look at that, it's a little bit runny. The reason why is because we're going to reduce it. So I'm going to put the claws in first. They take a little bit longer to cook because they're so thick. And they are absolute beauties. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of vinegar in here and we're going to dissolve the crab butter. So we want to really dissolve it, break it down. We're going to throw this in a little bit later on. Next thing, here we go with the body of the crab. Just throw all that in. Just a touch more stock. And then in with our crab butter. So I'm just going to pop the lid on now. And that'll take around about 10 to 15 minutes. So it's been about 15 minutes now, and I'm going to take the crab out. It looks absolutely beautiful, smelling amazing, absolutely amazing. How beautiful and claws are huge. Okay, and the sauce is nice. It's nice sort of consistency. Got a few things to do just to finish it off. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a taste now. Let's see how it is. Really, really good. I might put a little bit more soy sauce in there for a little bit more saltiness, but I'm really happy with that. So I'm just going to turn it on, start to reduce it down just a touch more. I'm going to throw a few shallots in there now, green shallots, just to give it a bit of colour, and then we're going to finish it with an egg. So we're going to whip a little bit of egg up, and that'll give it a really, really nice sort of velvety sort of feel to the mouth. Okay, so I've just had a few green shallots on ice. Just going to throw that. We're going to save a little bit for garnish. A little bit more soy sauce for saltiness. And I'm going to put a little bit of vinegar in there. You could put some lime juice in, I suppose. But a little bit of vinegar. What we're going to do now is crack an egg into the sauce. Okay, so when you crack your eggs, guys, just so you don't get any eggshell, this is a little tip, just crack them on a solid surface. Don't do them on the side of here, because they tend to always have, you end up with eggshell in there for some reason. Now, the reason why we turn the sauce off is so that the eggs don't scramble. It just gives it a really beautiful, smooth texture. So that's going in here now. I'm just going to stir that in, off the heat. It's really smooth. This is what makes it nice and traditional. Okay, so it's time to play. Let's do it. Okay, just going to put a little bit of sauce onto our plate. So we'll put a little bit of the body here. We're just going to pop this on top, which is crab's head for a little bit of garnish. Sauce in here. Little shallots all around just to give it a beautiful garnish. And that, my friends, is what I love about going mud crab fishing. But there you go, guys. Hopefully everybody in Singapore, hopefully you enjoyed that little clip and I've done you proud. Now in Singapore, traditionally they serve some sweetbread. Now I haven't got any sweetbread, I've got some sourdough here. But what I do have is some of my wife's homemade honey. And we've got some beautiful honeycomb. And this is straight from our property. So what I'm going to do is just drizzle some of this sourdough over the top, and I'm going to taste a little bit of this sauce with this sweet bread. I know it's a little bit different than what you guys do in Singapore, but I am trying my best. We don't have any brioche or anything like that to serve it with, and I know you guys make it. So I'm just going to taste this beautiful sauce with the sweet bread. Oh wow, now I understand why you serve it with the sweet bread. It really goes well with it. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, hit that like button, and we'll see you next time on the Hook and the Cook.